A series of gun and bomb attacks in Paris has killed at least 120 people. In the worst incident at a rock concert, police say around 80 people died. The Stade de France was evacuated after 2 suicide bombings while President Hollande watched France play Germany. The president has declared a state of emergency and closed the country's borders. Police say 8 attackers have been killed.
We've just experienced the worst atrocities in Paris, and we're now, we're contemplating what's next. Who's next? Are you going to be going out for dinner and worrying about whether or not you're going to be blown up and you're not living in Israel? So for everyone living in Israel, it's going to be a bit like, well, now you know how we feel. And for everyone that doesn't live in Israel, oh my God, here it comes, is what I fear.
I call on the entire civilized world to unite to defeat the plague of worldwide terrorism. An attack on any one of us should be seen as an attack on all of us. All terrorism must be condemned and fought equally, with unwavering determination.
We are solid in our support for the people of France. They have our thoughts and prayers at this terrible time, but above all, they have, as they have had on so many other occasions, the absolute solidarity and commitment of the Australian people to support them and all free nations in this battle against terrorism.
So on the Tuesday before the Paris bombings, I recorded this.
This is Ehud Yaari, who's going to be speaking on Israel confronting turbulence at home and regionally. Ehud's a very well-regarded journalist from Israel who's going to speak to us about the current situation.
The barbarism, the brutality, the ruthlessness that we see, and I'm not recommending watching those YouTubes. No decent television network in the world will air them. And today was the worst. The execution of 30 kids. Nobody will show it. So many people will not know about it. That was in Syria. The more barbaric you are, the more brutal, the more ruthless, the purer your devotion to Allah, to God.
A sentiment shared, no doubt, by those who were shot or maimed in Paris this week. Let's look at the debate, Hamas is a greater obstacle to peace than Israel, shall we? Because Hamas has a great deal more in common with Daesh than perhaps people realise.
The Hamas covenant, it says Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it. The Islamic resistance movement is a distinguished Palestinian movement whose allegiance is to Allah and whose way of life is Islam. It strives to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine.
That Hamas may be bad people, as if you can classify those who shoot gay men in the head as just bad people. As if you can classify those who aid and abet honor killings of Muslim women for doing nothing but falling in love, just bad people. As if you could excuse, for shame, those who took 21 innocent Palestinians on the last day of the war in Gaza, not Israelis, not Jews, and before the eyes of the world shot them in the head because they dared protest against Hamas. As if you can simply call them bad people. As if you could take an organization that would take Jews who live here in Great Britain, students at Oxford who happen to carry the name Jew, and write a charter calling for the extermination and annihilation of every last one, just bad people. My God, if a Jew did that, I would call it an abomination.
The streets of Paris will once again be filled, this time on the 27th of November, as the world leaders meet for the UN Climate Summit. It's set to be one of the biggest climate rallies the world's ever seen, because the situation is growing increasingly dire whilst the world governments aren't implementing sufficient policies. So you can join a Jewish contingent along with thousands of other Australians demanding action on climate change. Down at the 8-hour monument on the corner of Russell and Victoria Street, you can walk down to the State Library. Last year, the Jewish News asked, is the Jewish community somehow immune from the scourge of domestic violence?
Certainly not. Every community faces the same challenges.
No, we're not immune to these issues. They affect everyone. We're people. There are issues in relationships, and everyone deserves some type of help to deal with issues that they have.
Unfortunately not, because as much as we're on a high moral plane, some of us fall through the cracks.
Male and females are affected by family violence, and children too. So come along to the Jewish Task Force Against Family Violence Community Breakfast on November 24th at 7:15 a.m. at St Kilda Town Hall. And you can hear from the Assistant Commissioner of Family Violence, Commander Dean McWhirter, as well as the crime writer John Sylvester. For tickets, go to www.trybooking.com/ILWL. Finally this week, from the Jewish International Film Festival, a Jewish-Polish reconciliation documentary, one of hope beyond hate, music beyond tears. How apt, in a period when we're seeing such doom and gloom from Europe, we can see what is possible with the future, not the past. Pockets of hope.
I grew up with being angry, being a child of survivors. I was angry at the injustice. I was angry at the Polish people, I was angry at the German, angry at this, angry at that, because I was taking on my parents' stuff.
For people who say, I hate Poland, I hate the Poles, first of all, we Jews have a law. We are not to fault the children for the crimes, for the sins of the parents.
Judy Menzel and Paul Green have co-directed a documentary which puts Faye Sussman at the very heart of her story. She has released herself from the burdens of the Holocaust, a second-generation Jew who can finally look at the Poles in the eye and move forward with a future. These are non-Jewish Poles who are celebrating their Jewish history.
People ask me the question, why you are going there, why you take care of this place, are you Jewish? You have to be Jewish because no one normal person could go and clean the Jewish cemetery. Why you are doing it? So I couldn't understand because I'm doing Skavoler, you know, so this is part of my town, so I'm sorry. We need to take care of the cemetery and especially the memory.
I really believe that when it comes to Poland, there's more positive emotion towards Jewish people than in any other country around Europe, because we have this sense of responsibility. We feel shocked, we feel almost like embarrassed, we feel terrible with what happened in our country.